This pandemic has become a warning from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for all humankind. This is not just about health crisis, but the whole global economy is shaken. The impact of this pandemic has bring us into new lifestyle. We more conscious about healthier lifestyle and seeking safer option. Research found that to conquer with his pandemic, we have to revive by renewing our lifestyle from the good to great. And in Islamic perspective, I could say we should hijrah. Allah has provided us with the Al-Quran and Hadith more than 1400 years ago, guideline for healthiest and safety life already exists in this world, called Halal Lifestyle. In this very challenging moment, we should take a look back more truthfully to the lifestyle. Why? Because it turned out Halal Lifestyle is associated with halal industry, an industry that might be a solution for global economy revival.
I may change something about the halal ecosystem in Thailand. We call it the halal sphere. Halal sphere is the same. Maybe have something different. I will explain later. We all know that Islam starts with the education. Islam begins with the education, and Al-Quran, the first surah is Surah Al-Alaq. Iqra bismi rabbikal ladzi khalaq. Education is not only about the knowledge. From this surah, recite in the name of your Lord, who has created man from a clot. Recite, and your Lord is the most generous, who has taught the writing by the pen. He has taught man that which he know not. This is very important. It means that Islam begins with your education. And education, time to time, we have the confusion, we have some misunderstanding about the knowledge and about the culture. Education is not only about the knowledge, but also about ecosystem of education. Sometimes we call it learning culture. This culture refer to the environment and ecosystem around the learner. That is more important than the knowledge itself.
Good morning and best wishes for all of us. On this occasion, let us express our gratitude for the presence of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for His grace and gift today. We can attend the INHALF or Indonesia International Halal Lifestyle, even Halal Lifestyle Solution for Global Economy Revival, as a part of the Indonesia Sharia Economic Festival 2020, which has become an annual agenda by Bank Indonesia for the past 7 years as a forum for Sharia economy actors to meet and collaborate with each other.
Under current pandemic COVID-19, which has brought the world into a global economic slowdown, it is time to transform our thinking and develop a comprehensive strategy to transform the Islamic economy and finance as the new wave of economy and accelerate the economic recovery.
Regarding in 1970, Al-Ittifaq combined the pesantren education which studied more about religious science such as Tauhid, Fiqh, Sufism, with lessons about the entrepreneurship and sustainability agriculture. It is important to keep the balance between nature and the people, because in this earth, human is meant to be caleb who cannot escape responsibility to their natural surroundings. Fellow humans and their God, hablum minallah wa hablum minan nas wa sunnatullah.
The current state of the global halal food market, and obviously a lot of us are, especially in a country such as Indonesia, where SMEs play a significant role. SMEs play a significant role in most all economies, but especially in case of Indonesia. So the impact of the pandemic on halal markets, SMEs, strategies for halal market SMEs to recover, and then finally, what are the specific opportunities for Indonesia's SMEs? Next, please. So we'll start with the first one. As many of you may know, or if you don't know, my firm, Dinar Standard, we have been focusing on the state of the global halal market for over 12 years now. And certainly this has been an incredible year, 2020. And no question, the food market globally in general has had a big impact, both positive, but obviously negative as well. And halal food market is very much part of it. So let's share with you some of our views in terms of the analysis of the global food market. Next, please. When our team has studied the impact of the pandemic's crisis on the food market, especially, and there are 4 significant shifts in the food consumption, and there are 2 that are key social concerns. It is important, ladies and gentlemen, to keep in mind that the halal food market is obviously very much, as an industry, is part of the global food market, and essentially the industry is food, with the focus of halal compliance on its value chain, on the global supply chain. So it's certainly very much part and parcel of how the global food market gets impacted by this pandemic. So when we studied the impact for that reason, we identified 4 major consumer shifts. Number 1, the most obvious, because of the immunity concern, because of the health concern, there is growth very clearly across the board in different percentages worldwide on focus on healthy food, healthy eating. So again, when we look at food, and certainly halal food, the impact of the growth of healthy food trends. Now the trends are different, a little bit different from different geographies, but certainly as a global trend, and I'm quite certain even in Indonesia, it's one of the key developments. Number 2, obviously the pandemic has brought about major job losses. And while the job losses are clear across different sectors, the focus from a food point of view has moved to essentials. So what are the essential foods have really, in fact, not just dropped, but in many cases have even grown when you look at subcategories. Whereas the non-essentials, more you would say the high-end luxury or non-essential food categories have had a little bit of a hit in terms of negative impact. Number 3 trend, and again, this is also a very obvious one. There's already a move towards online grocery shopping, but as many of you know, there's been a global boom in terms of online groceries and grocery delivery as a category. And that has had a significant impact, obviously, on the food value chain. And we have seen even supermarkets in terms of impact. And as you can see from our arrows on the yellow, these 3 trends have actually had a positive impact. What has had a negative impact in terms of the food value chain is the impact on restaurants. QSRs, restaurants have been severely impacted negatively. So this is from a macro point of view, the consumer shifts. Obviously, from a social concern point of view, the estimations latest from FAO is that additional 130 million people were at risk of starvation, will be at a risk of starvation by the end of 2020. So there has certainly been an impact, and again, we would be amiss not to consider the social impacts of the pandemic, as you can see with the impact on starvation.
Over 2 million Muslim tourists were expected to come to Japan in 2020. Before global pandemic, many Muslim tourists traveling to Japan. They visited masjid, communities, friends, and touring spots, sightseeing spots, of course, to take photos. According to Crescent Rating, Japan is one of the countries who improved its halal environment the most last several years. As you see, Japan now ranked third among non-OIC countries in Global Muslim Travel Index. Japan also won the world's best non-OIC emerging halal destination in 2016. So even 4 years ago, Japan received this kind of very big praise from Middle East countries.